Shout out to A1 Dunn on the beat. I'd like to welcome y'all to the LK Sport Podcast. On this episode, we'll talk about the closing Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We also talk about the upcoming NBA Finals. At the end, if we have some extra time, we're going to play some games with Jaylen Brown. Do you think he stays? What's going on with Joe Mazzulla? We're going to talk about all those things in this episode. Without further ado, you know I got my dog GMoney with me. What's happening?
What's up? How we doing?
Hey, man. How was your Memorial Day weekend?
It was good. A couple days in Nashville and a couple days relaxing, so it was fun. Nashville's always a good time.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. We got to go, man. It's always fun there, especially when the weather is decent. Even when it's cold, you go to the mountains or Gatlinburg or anything up there, still have a good time. So I always enjoy Tennessee.
It's a lot of fun.
It's not the worst place to go by far. Get your hands together for the Miami Heat. Congratulations.
Thank you, Miami. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for not letting Boston get there, especially like that.
We're going to start on the Heat. We're going to give them congratulations. Shout out to the Heat winning in 7. They went up 3-0. Kind of nerve probably for Miami Heat fans, but it's still hard to beat a team 4 times in a row, even as talented as Boston Celtics is. If you want to talk about, we're going to talk about the game right fast. It happened on Monday night. Jimmy Butler gave you 28. Caleb Martin, the star of the show. Star Caleb Martin just got him a good offseason check or extension or something.
Most likely.
In the offseason, gave you 26. His average 19 in this series. Then you had Bam. I mean, if you look at Bam, copy Boston. No, I say copy Boston. I'm thinking about Boston. Well, box score, you'd think he did nothing. He was plus 22 while he was out there. His screens he set for the three-point shooters, he still had 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 12 points. Probably next series going to need a little bit more scoring from him, but if you have certain that similar line, it'll be good for him. Kyle Lowry came in. He gave you 7 and 7. It didn't look as good, 7, 5, and 7, but he played very well. Like I said, all around, every time they needed a shot, Caleb Martin came through. Every time Boston tried to make a run, they played decent ball, man. Duncan Robinson, he had 10 points. He gave you 2 trade. Even any points that Duncan Robinson give you is a bonus on that team. Especially with Tyler Hero being out, him and Strus and Vincent and all those guys stepping up and getting you some baskets. I think they averaged 56 points. Those are drafted free agents in that series. So something like that. So all-around effort for Miami. Like I said, congratulations to them first before we move on to the Celtics and what they're going to do with their team. Before I do that, Greg, got anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, everybody contributed. I mean, Bam has to be better than that. I mean, yeah, he was fine, but I mean, the reason why Miami won that was the defense. I mean, the defense is incredible. I mean, you know, in today's NBA, even scoring 103 points is not a lot, but when you hold the team to 84 points, you're going to win. You know, 99.9%, especially in today's NBA. But yeah, no, they're 7 games, you know, and, you know, it's hard to, like you said, hard to beat somebody 4 times. And, you know, Spoelstra, you know, I think he was very, 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 very outclassed Mazzulla and coaching. And I think that was, I think that had a big part to do with it. So
I believe so as well.
But you got to give him credit. I mean, they said it, like they said in the Jimmy Butler in that press conference after Game 7 last year, was like, you know, he's like, we'll be back here next year. And it'll be a different result, and it literally was the same exact thing with a different result. And so crazy. And I don't know if you saw that stat in the 2, which just shows so weird now where the NBA is going with that. Like why people say a lot of these guys don't rest and they don't care about the home court as much as that they played 14 games the last 2 years, and you know those two 7-game series, and the road team won 10 of the 14 games.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So, which is just
that's interesting. That's new.
Yeah. Boston won Game 7 in Miami last year, and then Miami won Game 7 in Boston this year. Yeah. So,
let's get with these Celtics that gave you 84 points. Let's start with the most obvious news. Jason Tatum sprains his ankle, first play of the game. Which put a damper in the game when that happened. I was like, damn, I don't want this Game 7 to go like this. I want all the stars out to play. I want everybody healthy. I want to see Tatum give you, 35, and these guys go back and forth. And in the fourth quarter, we sitting on the edge of our seat So when he did it, first half he moved a little okay.
It didn't seem at first. I was like, oh, it's fine, and it definitely worked. I don't know if he was just using it as a thing, But I mean, there's no way to know that. But
yeah, I guess when he went in halftime, stiffen up on it and try to keep it loose. And it's one of those things when you have a sprained ankle, if you stop playing on it and it starts swelling up on you, then it get worse as time go along. And then the second half is more obvious than anything that ankle was really bothering him. It just, just one of those things we spoke about on the previous part, like anything, you're a sprained ankle away from losing a game right now, or hamstring, or elbow to the face concussion, anything, from losing a series, a game, or whatever. And it's just unfortunate how it happened. Does it matter? Do I think that really made the Celtics lose? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure.
So.
I'm not sure. It depends. Like I said, Tatum's so streaky. He could have gave you 45, 50 tonight if he was healthy. Who never knows? But just one of those things that happened. He toughed it out, still gave him 42 minutes, I believe. And he tried, but I think he, in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler, those guys, they targeted him. They realized he really couldn't move on that ankle anymore, and they was going to they was screening for it.
I thought they were doing him a favor. I thought they didn't do it enough.
Yeah, they didn't.
They definitely do that enough. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if that's like a new thing in the NBA now, if there's some like moral thing out there. I've noticed it like in years, like when guys are in foul trouble or when guys are a little banged up, you don't see them attack the guys like they used to. Like if a guy got his, that second foul, the third or the fifth foul at a certain time, it was like boom, you were going to him. You were going whoever was covering him. You were getting, or you putting that guy in the pick and roll. I would have been putting Tatum in the pick and roll on every play.
I think they were just saving. I think Spo he knew what was going on. Spo was like, okay, we're gonna go to this in the fourth quarter. We don't want to expose it too early so he can game plan and change it. But if you pay attention to the game plan of Miami, they've been playing zone majority of the series, and I feel like Boston should have been prepared for that zone that Miami was placing on them the entire series, and they didn't have no game plan on it. They was putting Horford at the middle and at the free throw line. But I feel like you should have put Tatum at the 5, even with that sprained ankle. He still could have guarded the Bam or somebody.
Miami's not big. They don't play big. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Kevin
Love didn't play at all in the last two games.
So I just feel like you shouldn't. Mazzulla, that's one of those things. Mazzulla got to learn next year. I think he saved his job by coming back to making it into Game 7. So I don't think they'll fire him. Is it still on the table? Yes. But I don't think, being that the circumstances that he got that head coaching job, I think that their front office will, if they look into it and see that it's just such a better candidate out there to bring into Boston, I think they would do it.
There are some good candidates out there, but I mean,
I don't bring Doc back. That's it. Kevin Young getting that Suns job. Nick Nurse just signed his
Monty
job
Williams
with Philly. I like Monty Williams, but
I think everybody's a better coach than Mazzulla right now. But again, it's 1 year, so yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't think they make a move. I mean, to be honest, one thing I would think about doing is pulling a freaking Pat Riley, freaking Brad Stevens, being like, I'm gonna coach the team for a year or two, and then freaking go back to the GM, and then freaking hire another coach maybe. But I didn't change anything. They never. I mean, they even asked him, "Are you gonna stop? You're gonna stop shooting so many threes?" Nope. He just in his. I mean, this guy thinking he's Bill Belichick.
I think he's a solid person. As a person, I think he's a likable person. Some things he said, I seen the interview. They were like, he just met some girls at terminal cancer, and they were smiling. And he said, we're going to keep the faith. We're not going to lose faith in this team. And I think he just has a positive attitude. It's just unfortunate situation. I think it was those
interviews and press conferences with him were brutal, though. I mean, he was as bad as Belichick, and he hasn't earned that right to be Belichick. And
you put him in this position. I don't think you can. I think you can. Technically, anything can happen. You can fire me. Anything can happen. But my thing is just they did come back. They was based off talent the whole entire year. This has been happening literally the whole entire year. When you gave him an extension, when y'all was winning on talent, not on coaching adjustments and substitutions, you've seen this. If you sit in the stands, I'm pretty sure the owners and the GMs and Brad Stevens and those guys went to 85% of these games this year, and they seen what they had in Missoula. You gave them an extension. I don't know, but just because you was high on them because they was winning and the talent and the threes were falling, and you know what I mean? So, like I said, it's always an option. You know what I'm saying? Monty Williams, whoever else out there, maybe you can go get him. But I think Missoula stays. But I'm going to get back to this roster real quick. Let's talk about Jaylen Brown, 8 turnovers. Can't dribble Brown. That's what I'm going to start calling him. He's terrible dribbling, man. It's been happening all year. Dribbling off the foot, unforced areas. Like in tennis, he got them double faults. Like, he can just be dribbling and he hits his foot and it goes out of bounds. And it's just the worst way. Worst. One of the turnovers are bad, but that's the worst turnover. Like, just fumbling and give it away and easy 2-point fast break points for the other team. He's got to shoulder a lot of this offseason. He's going to have to get in the lab, get some dribbling mechanics, call up Sham God or somebody to be working on your handles this year. And then the biggest decision for Jaylen Brown in that front office is $50 million a year extension. Based off what you've seen in this series.
$60 million.
Well,
it's 5 years, $300 million is what the extension is now. It's crazy.
I think it's just 50. He can't get 60. If I'm not mistaken, he only can get up to 50. But it's still a lot of money, 50 or 60 million. And I think he really got to sit down and look at himself because his base salary for next year is $28 million. He's got to really sit at himself. I know he's going to go in there and ask for the money, and they're not wrong. And I think they front office and Brad Stevens and those guys have the right to tell you, like, wait, hold on, like, the showing that you, and just be blunt, like the showing that you gave us in the Eastern Conference Final, not stepping up in Game 7 when Tatum got hurt, it's a damper on giving you $50 million. And like I said to you in another pod, it's hard to have $100 million within two people. That's rough on your roster. That means you can't bring Grant Williams back. You got a player option in Gallinari, which I'm pretty sure he's going to sign that with the quickness coming off the ACL injury. Then you got Brogdon to be back. The majority of your team is back next year. Horford, Smart, Williams, Brogdon, White. I don't know if I said some names twice. Tatum, Brown. Your core is still there, but you're going to need help. With losing Grant Williams, I'm pretty sure you're going to get him a little check somewhere to defend, and the 3-and-D guy. He was hurt.
He might be back.
I don't think the money is – I don't think Grant – I wouldn't give them a discount. I mean, go get your bread. They handing this shit out in the NBA, so why not go get it? Like I said, you got Sam Howes. I like your base guys be back. Pritchard, I don't know. He's got an option. I would love – he's a role player to me. On any other team in the league, I think he comes off the bench and get buckets. He has problems defending sometimes because of his size, but I think in the regular season he can come and score. He's not Fred VanVleet or anything, but he's the same type of player, so I like him a lot. But the guys got injured, man. They say Grant Williams' elbow was bothering him. Who knows what's going on? Horford legs was tired. If you watch that game, he's exhausted, man. He played a lot of minutes. They say Robert Williams had a stomach virus. He was throwing up during Game 7. So they just had a lot of problems, bad juju, man. Some things just happen at the wrong time in sports. And that's just one of those things, like, maybe this will make them a champion next year. Maybe they go to the drawing board and figure things out with Tatum. And like I said, the twisted ankle really just put a damper on this game to me personally. And
it's just an excuse now for him, but
yeah, true story. And like I said, Robert Williams just got back to his defensive prowess during this last series at the end there. He's finally getting his legs back on. It's just a lot of little things. Malcolm Brogdon was hurt. He didn't play well this game. Something was going on with him as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, because he missed Game 6. His elbow or something like that.
Yeah, so
but they're all banged. I mean, Miami's been playing. They beat them without Hero, and they're the. I mean, like I said, I know they were chasing history and things like that, and as much as I have no love for Boston sports, I don't have any love for Miami either. But I think I respect them and all that kind of stuff. But like, once you, as the better team, as the significantly better team, once you get that series to a Game 7 at home, you can't lose that game. You can't, especially not lose it like that. You know what I mean? They got blown. You know, the game was not. I mean, they took Jaylen Brown and Tatum out with like 4 minutes left in the game, and we're like, game over. You know what I mean? It's just like, and the ankle, yeah, that's. I mean, but it's still. But I know this Boston team. There's like the thing, and I think I texted you just poor coaching. They rely completely on their talent, and I think I'm not convinced these guys are mentally tough. Whether it's clearly Jaylen Brown isn't. He's got some growing to do, but he's been in the league for 7 years now. Even Tatum, these guys they're still young. So we've seen guys. I mean, even Michael Jordan was immature until like his 6th or 7th year in the league, and he was scoring on everybody, doing all those things, but he didn't grow as a player. And I think Tatum has some growing up to do too. There was when things are tough for this Boston team, they don't do well. even in Game 7 against Milwaukee, they ran away with that. You start hitting shots early, you get a lead. It's easy then. They're great when it's like that, but when it's close and they're struggling, they don't. They should have lost Game 6. They dominated that whole game, and they still should have lost that game. They got that tip in at the end, and they should have lost that game too after dominating most of that game because it was close and they crumbled at the end. But it's just you got to be. There's something missing. Whether maybe it's a different coach, maybe it's the coach. I don't know if it's something else with these guys, but there's something missing from that team. They're way too talented and way too good. And they've been knocking on the door for like 4 years now. 5 years now. You know what I mean? It's even people forget last year too when they lost in the finals last year. I mean, they got to the finals, so obviously that's a good season. Tatum averaged 19 in the finals. They were up 2-1 in that series and had a 6-point lead with 4 minutes left in Game 4, and lost Game 4, and then lost the game, and then lost that series in 6. Like they were up 2-1.
I think if you're asking the question of what's going on with Boston, me personally, they don't have a dog on their team. I think they wanted Marcus Smart to be this guy but he complains a little too much for me. I think majority of the teams that win championship have a dog on them. PJ Tucker when he was with the Bucks. That Lakers year, LeBron he's just a leader by himself. Golden State, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, a dog on your team. Name another champion in recent years. Toronto, they were just well put together with Kawhi was in his prime.
Oh yeah, I mean Kawhi is playoff Kawhi. Yeah. He's a dog.
So
Tatum. Tatum.
He doesn't have that.
He's a top 5 guy in the league. He should be a top 5 guy in the league. I mean, he's all NBA 2 years in a row now. I mean, he just needs to, and he shows it. Like I said, he shows it sometimes. I mean, the guy can do everything. He can literally do he brings it. And he's a pretty good defender, and he's a good defender too. Which is like, a lot of these star players nowadays don't play defense, and he certainly is willing and capable of playing defense. So it's really weird. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's, do you trade Brown? Do you, I don't know. I don't know what the move is there, to change that up a little bit. But I think they need to. I mean, it's crazy if they don't do anything though. If they don't do anything, I guarantee you when they'll probably be in the top 3 favorites to win the championship next year. Probably the favorite to win the East. I mean, even if they don't do it, that's how talented the team is.
Currently constructed, they're still very good. Like I said, majority of their base of their team, 7 of their main players coming back. They rotation guys, like I said, from Smart, White, Brogdon, Williams, Horford, and the 2 stars. Like I said, they're going to be put together again. It's just that the fact: do you want to go through this again?
Yeah, and if they're willing to pay the tax too, they probably that's the thing I meant to say. Is with the Grant Williams thing too, is because generally, because of the way the free agency works and the hard cap and all this stuff, generally the team Boston might actually be able to offer him the most money, a lot, because with the cap and space. Another team might not be able to, offer that much money because when you sign guys, you can't sign guys off the street and go over the cap. You have to be under the cap and stuff like. However, the most complicated salary cap in all of sports is the NBA salary cap for sure.
Let's play the game real quick. We're gonna do a quick.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
I'm gonna start with your guys. Where would you kind of rapid fire with Jaylen Brown? First question: will he play for Boston next year? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. If not, I got some places. Like I said, this is on the fly for me. Knicks, would you trade Julius Barrett for
Julius and Barrett?
Yeah, because you got to make the contracts match. Julius is making 25 and Barrett's making 23, and if you give,
I understand if Brown gets the extension.
Yeah,
I don't think I would. Yeah. It's funny, as I wanted Jaylen Brown too. He was the guy I wanted. He was the guy I wanted with the Knicks. I would probably. I mean, would I trade for him if it's just like R.J. Barrett or just him and then some other things? Mm-hmm. Then I probably would still make the move, but I've definitely soured on Jaylen Brown for sure. But I mean, again, the guy's still only like 20. How old is he? 26?
27, 28. He's been in the league a little longer than people think. Let me make sure.
No, I know this was his 7th year. So, but I think he's still under 20.
He's 26. He'll be 27 when the year starts.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, he's still very young.
Right.
I mean, technically, you could argue that him and Tatum haven't even hit their primes yet. which is pretty scary. You know what I mean? Which is scary, but yeah, no. I mean, I guarantee, for one of those guys and some picks and some other players, I would take him, but I don't know if I would take him for both guys.
This is on the fly, like I said. Toronto, this package, Van Vliet. So this is the trade. I'm just coming off the top of my head trying to think of something real, but the money ain't gonna work out, so that it wouldn't work. I was trying to figure out something for Toronto, but it's just not gonna work. Period. The money.
Yeah, the money makes it. That's where you have to get like the third team involved.
I mean, Houston got a lot of space. Do you turn this around? If you F around and get James Harden, do you add Brown to that with your draft pick? What pick they got again?
Houston
got the 4th pick.
So I'm not sure what the trade.
I'm saying, like, you figure something out to get. I don't know how you would do it. I'm just thinking of people with cap space that can pay both of those guys. Do you try to make a big turnaround with Ime there and get Harden and Brown together in Houston with their 4th pick? You trade away, I guess, Porter Jr. Nah, that's not gonna work either.
Yeah, I don't think Boston. I think Boston, if they're trading Jaylen Brown, they want like I don't think they're doing it for just a pick or something like that. They want like a win now guy.
Ooh, what about this? New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson, and I don't know, one of these other guys, Larry Nance Jr. for Jaylen Brown and say a pick or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would think about it. I mean, there's some thought that Boston needs a little bit of a. Do you trust Zion Williams if you're a Celtics fan? But no, of course not. But I mean, I don't know how much they trust Jaylen Brown now. Mark Ingram, Brandon Ingram. Now that's an interesting. But I mean, he's
$33 million. He's making a lot of money.
I mean, he's kind of like a Tatum though. He's kind of like because they don't really have any. They don't get consistent scoring in the post.
Would you want an older guy like McCollum?
Probably not. I think he's a little. I don't think he's good. I mean, again, depending on what the pieces are, if you're getting some other players with him, maybe you make yourself more depth and you build around Tatum. But I mean, I think
you should get rid of. Well, I'll talk about it.
I mean, which I don't know if you're going to get there yet, but I think the guy, which scares the hell out of me, being
I'm gonna get there.
You're going to get to him. All right, I don't want that trade.
Washington trade Bradley Beal and somebody for Jaylen Brown.
I would think that
be the man with Kuzma and Gafford and Porzingis. I mean,
Porzingis comes back. Yeah, he's a free agent too. But
he got a player option, $36 million. I'm pretty sure. Let somebody come out here offering 4 years.
No, and there's talk that they want to sign him anyway. So he had his best year last year. Go figure.
Right. But would you do that, Bill?
I would. That's depending on what you think about.
Bill's making $46 million.
What you think about what you're thinking about his his health. If you think Beal's going to be healthy, I think it's something you think about for sure. And I think Washington would probably do that too because
they get a couple years younger. Because I think Bill been in the league a long time. Yeah. I don't think people realize.
He's not. I don't think he's that much older, but he's older, I believe.
Bill got to be pushing 30, so he'll be 30 this year.
Yeah, so he's a couple years older. So I would definitely entertain a deal that brought Bradley Beal in for sure if I'm the Celtics, and I got 2
more. Dallas, they have if they do not sign Kyrie back, they have hella cap space. They don't sell. I think Kyrie coming off the book, Christian Woods coming off the books. I was just looking at it. I was quite amazed.
But the way the cap is, are you sure they got a ton of space still, though, even with the way that works?
I'm going to explain it to you.
It's so weird. I said the NBA cap is so freaking weird.
They're holes right now, which technically it's called the bird, right, which they can keep their players. They're the first one. So technically they got a hole on theirs, which you were saying they can go over their own cap if their players belong to them first, which is the bird, right?
That's why you see a lot of sign and trades because that's why.
Kyrie has a cap figure of $42 million. Christian Wood, $21 million. Dwight Powell, $16 million. Nikola Melli, I remember him, $5 million.
Is the Kyrie one? Is that a projected number? Because he's not. Because
they say cap figure. That's what he's supposed to get next year.
Because he's not. Because he's a free agent.
Technically, but if they re-sign him, that's the number he can sign at.
That's what I'm saying. That's a number. That's what the number would be if they signed him. Okay, yeah, that's so.
And you got like a bunch of $1 millions, the Marquise, the Justin Holidays, and things of that nature. So if they don't sign Kyrie, Christian Wood, Dwight Powell, that's 63. That's $80 million.
Yeah, he could. I mean, depending on. I just don't know what you're giving.
Would you like a Christian Wood? You already got Robert Williams, Al Horford. That don't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that were if the. I think he'd be a great fit in Detroit, in Dallas, though. Jaylen Brown going to Dallas, he wouldn't have to dribble the ball.
Right.
Because Luke always dribbles the ball.
So this is my trade scenario for Dallas. You traded away Tim Hardaway Jr., Max Kleber, and Reggie Bullock for Jaylen Brown. That money would fit perfectly.
Yeah, I don't think Boston.
They don't
does
move
that.
the needle.
I don't think so. I don't. I mean,
you're the deepest team in the world.
Yeah, and now Dallas also, as much as Dallas would want. I mean, now Dallas has nobody.
I mean, that team would be Luka, Jaylen Brown, then you have.
You're saying that. Of course, you're assuming you're saying no Kyrie there,
yeah,
too, right? Because that would be an utter disaster. Kyrie.
And they they'll figure it out, but I don't.
No, I know. I think Boston probably wants a better.
But last but not least, the one guy he was talking about, the Dame for.
Yeah, I mean that one makes
Jaylen Brown.
It makes too much sense. I hope and pray.
The number 3 pick in Anthony Simon is very tempting as well. Anthony Simon is a go getter. I think you underestimate him when I mentioned to you before. It's like, why would I trade?
Yeah. I just don't think that's the move. Boston's trying to get over the hump of winning a championship. I don't think that's the kind of move.
I think you build around Jason Tatum, man. I think this friendship, situationship with him and Brown is over for me. I think you put Tatum in the not 1A, 1B role, 1 into 1. Like, this is your effing team.
I mean, I think he is. I know it's a little.
But at the end of the day, Jaylen Brown shares some of their responsibility. I think if you put him out there and say, listen, Jason Tatum, come sit in our office. Look at what we got going on. This is the cat room. If we get rid of
shoot even more threes now.
I think that'll switch up just a little bit. Look. Without Jaylen Brown, our team is me, is you, Robert Williams, Brogdon, White, Smart. Smart's getting older, which I think you got to figure out something with him as well. He doesn't defend the way he used to anymore. And I think you can get players, get deeper, and be just as good without Jaylen Brown. Me personally.
Yeah, there is that world. I don't know. It's like one of those things because the optics of trading away like Jaylen Brown and not getting another star back, sometimes just that looks, if it doesn't work, it looks really, but I get the idea of getting, without injuries,
Jaylen Brown doesn't make the NBA team this year. I'm just going to be 100%. Without injuries, he doesn't make the All-NBA team this year.
You got to remember, the guy averaged like 26 this year or something like that. I
don't think Kevin Durant is a forward that could have made it.
No. I mean, of course, I'm not saying he would have, but I mean, Jaylen Brown, the stats are good. I mean, 26.6 this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the stats, and 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists.
So did he go in as a forward or a guard? I can't remember.
I think he's listed as a guard, I believe. Okay, he's listed as a 2. But the other thing with the Portland though, I mean, and that's what me really not liking the Celtics. Or any Boston teams for that matter, is the Dame Lillard one though. That's if they get Dame Lillard, like I think that's a wrap on the Eastern Conference. I mean, again, barring whatever moves some other teams make, because there are, who knows if somebody goes out and does something.
We don't talk that before, and that shit don't work out. So I don't.
But I mean, Dame is just like, it's come on, he's coming up in the clutch. He's stepping it up in the clutch. We've seen it before. Like that's the move. And I don't think if he asks out of Portland, which he still hasn't officially done, I don't know how either team says no to that.
Yeah.
And I know if you're Boston, you can't say no to that. And then I think Portland, if you're trying to rebuild, now you're rebuilding around Jaylen Brown and whoever that third pick is this year. He's like I said, he'll be 27. Like that's still, that's expectations. I think it makes a lot of sense. I hope it doesn't happen.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts where it matches Jaylen Brown and Dame together in Portland. They trade away the third pick in Anthony Simons, and they trade away like young, like I said, Simons in the third pick and something else, and one of these young guys that they have on their team. And Portland tries to re-up with Dame. I don't think Dame want to leave unless he really have to, that this team doesn't get better this offseason.
Well, he said he does. He said he that's the one. He hasn't officially. He said he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild.
Yeah,
I mean, he came out and said that.
If you can get Jaylen Brown there, you can try. But the Western Conference is so tough with Memphis, it's going to be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even Dame and Jaylen Brown is not enough to. That doesn't move. That doesn't. I mean, that gets you in the play-in.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, or the playoffs.
If they stay healthy, I can see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's, but they're definitely a bottom. They're not a top four. I still don't think that's a super. Especially, I mean, seeing what we saw from Jaylen Brown this year, in the playoffs, especially. Like, he's a great player, but he's got some. He's got to show some more in the big moments.
I mean, I'm trying to let's think of some players here. I'm going through this right fast before we wrap it up. Some free agents. You got Westbrook. He's going to be out there. You might sign him a vet minimum deal just to go on a championship team. You got James Harden, which is he's in talk to go back to Houston or stay with Philly. You got Chris Middleton. He had an injury-riddled season. He got a bird right to Milwaukee, so Milwaukee got a chance to play a bird. I mean, so he can go back to Milwaukee unless somebody offer him a fuck ton of money to come. And Chris Middleton's not a young whippersnapper. He's 31. He'll be 32 by the time of the season. So anybody throw some money at him to end his career, I think he's gonna jump on and be like, "Hey, whatever."
Bucks got some decisions to make.
Yeah, they can't bring Brook Lopez back.
He's on that list too, right? So
yeah, you got Kyrie, you got Porzingis, which they said I think Washington offered him the most money, so I'm pretty sure he'll take his final payday. He's at 28.
Yeah, he'll definitely take the money.
D'Angelo Russell. He's going to take whatever somebody throw at him. He had a bad
These guys are all going to sign with Phoenix.
Yeah,
minimums.
I think Russell is a confident thing. I think Russell can play basketball. He's very lackadaisical. I think if you get a coach to really get on his ass, I think he can be a great bench player. I don't think he's a starter anymore. I think he can come off the bench in a Brogdon like role or quickly or something. Come off the bench when he's hot. He's hot. When he's not, he's not. You can sit him down. Come in if he's stroking, if he's hitting, he can give you 20. He can in a regular season, he can win you 5 to 10 games if he's hot by himself alone. So I'm interested to see where he goes this offseason and what type of money they'll offer him. Like I said, I still think he can get it done in the league. I just think he's just so lackadaisical in his defensive effort is going to really hold some money back. And like I said, people remember the last thing you did, and it wasn't good for him in that Western Conference Finals. And Vukovic, he's an undrafted free agent. But he's 33. He'll be 33 when the year starts. I mean, he still gets it done. Very fundamental European guy. Draymond, I forgot about that situation. You got Fred VanVleet, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Grant, Karis LeVert, Gary Trent Jr., Derrick Rose, Will Barton. Some of these names, Christian Wood, Brook Lopez. I think he'll be great for y'all in New York. I think y'all should throw some money on you, put him out there with those guys, stretch the floor. You can space the floor with him with Jalen Brunson, and if Julius come back, I think it'll be great for y'all team. I
think he ends up back in Milwaukee, but I would take him. I mean, again, depends on where I don't know if that's the guy I want to spend.
You got to re-sign Josh Hart. What you gonna do with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a free agent.
Yeah, you got to play a bird, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be back. He was big for us. I mean, like I said, I'd love to make a move. I think I'm waiting for that next.
Pieces out here.
No, for sure. And then not even to mention the guys that are probably way lower.
Kelly Oubre, Dylan Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks catching them.
Yeah, Dylan, he's going to probably
he'll go to Miami and some shit. But I think he's and
then some of the guys even farther down that list because they're not making any money now. Guys like Austin Reeves and Caleb Martin who moved this season. Especially, I mean, Austin Reeves for the entire season, and then Caleb Martin, especially in the in the
Corey Joseph, Cameron Johnson in Brooklyn. It's a lot of pieces out here. I think you can build a team around. In Boston or wherever we trying to build a team. I think
for sure. I mean, but the thing is, Boston. Like I said, Boston doesn't really. Yeah. You're gonna see. I'm saying you're gonna see a lot of these. You're gonna see a lot of those.
Schroeder. I didn't know this. Yeah, Schroeder is a free agent again.
You're gonna see a lot of You're gonna see a lot of those older guys. They're gonna take less money and they're gonna go to freaking Phoenix. Like they always. That's that thing that always happens when you start to get that super team. Is people are gonna be like, let's go play with Booker and Durant and win a championship.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Lakers will be a different team. I think they sign Rui and Reeves again and run it back and try to pick, like you said, one of these older guys up to come in, like, hey, come be a part of this with us, and the Justin Holidays, things.
Yeah, LeBron's always a
like
target for those guys too. So
Matt Strus is a free agent, but I figured that they might figure it out with someone with the Heat unless somebody throw money at him as well. Herbert Jones, that's very interesting. I love that guy. He's in New Orleans. He's 25. He's a 3-and-D guy. I really love his effort. But just sitting here when it's my first time running through this, it's some pieces out here if you know basketball, man. And I really think that they'll figure it out. Even if they sign him and Brown back together for $100 million, like I said, just to go to Boston and play with those two guys and have a chance to get to the NBA Finals again, guys are signed for less money. Dennis Smith Jr.'s, yeah, man. It's a lot of little pieces out here. These guys These guys ain't nobody you gonna just, go crazy about. But at the end of the day, they play their position. They know they're role players, and they gonna do what they got to do. Like I say, interested to see where Grant Williams go and things of that nature.
Yeah, man. There it is. I looked it up because I thought it was because he made All NBA. Yeah, Brown is eligible for 5 years, $295 million.
That's crazy.
That's the NBA though. That's the thing. It's like you would say nobody's worth that kind of money, but that's what the new max deal for these guys is now. All these guys are gonna, when they re-up, are all gonna get like $60 million.
True. Which
is just it's the nice thing. The NBA does well, and there's only like 12 or 15 players on a team. It's just freaking crazy.
Yeah, their new ruling and things and the money going to those. I mean, I'm all for it. Get y'all bread. I ain't on that, so don't even take it.
Yeah, I mean, they just signed the new CBA, so that ain't changing anytime soon. So, right. But again, they did. I said, yeah, get that money. If you can get that money, get that money. It just seems so. It just seems so. It just seems, especially. I mean, obviously, obviously inflation and things like that. So it's just like the more money comes in, the more money these guys are going to get. So make that money.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Thursday night, we started playing ball. NBA Finals Game 1 in Denver, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before we get started, make your pick.
The 2023 NBA champions, Denver Nuggets, in 5.
Denver in 5. I give Denver in 6. I think he can cause them problems with their ball movement and three-point shooting. I think they've been underestimated all year, and I think they'll get a couple games here. I think Jimmy Butler will will them to 1. And I think those undrafted free agents will get them another one. And I think Denver wins 4-2 in Miami, raising the banner in South Beach, party in South Beach, come back home next day, parade in Denver, do it all over again. Jokic is crowned one of the greatest seasons of all time, goes down in the history book, and we have to start talking about him being one of the best players ever, top 5 or the best player in the league. They're going to start that talk for sure if he win this championship. Yeah. And I think it's their year to win it. I think it's I ain't going to say he won't have another chance to get it with the talent that he is, but I think this was the year for him. You beat an 8 seed, a 4 seed, and a 7 seed, and then you play the 8 seed again in the NBA championship. So I think it's wrote in the books for them to get this one.
Yeah, I think that 4 seed and that 7 seed are a little bit like, talking about the Lakers with LeBron and Phoenix, and then that obviously Phoenix was the favorite. Phoenix was the favorite going in to the playoffs, so they're like definitely one of the more underappreciated 1 seeds of all time.
Right.
But no, and I said I respect the hell out of Miami and Spoelstra, especially Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler and those guys, but I just think you're gonna see. I think Denver is ultra motivated. Their defense has been like, I just think Denver's going to do to Miami what Boston should have done to them. And it should be a shorter, I'm 5 or 6, something like that. It's like the betting. I was talking about this with my buddy about the worst betting odds for Denver is in 5. That's like the favorite. Mm-hmm. Denver in 5 is actually the betting favorite too.
So from 0 to 100%, what is the chance you think Miami can somehow pull this off?
10%.
I mean, that's not the worst.
No, I would never say as much as I want to say like 0 because I just think Denver is. Like I said, I just think Denver is going Miami. I will say this, and I told this to somebody before. If it goes 7, Miami's taking it.
So?
I mean, winning a seventh game in Denver is not going, is very hard. I mean, I don't think Denver's lost I don't think they've lost the road home game in the playoffs. So, but I just feel like if somehow Miami does that and pulls it to 7, that's just what Miami does, and they would like somehow pull it off. So
I'm gonna give you some quick notes. NBA Finals Game 1 is Thursday. Then you get a 2-day break, which I think is big, and then they play again on Sunday. Then they get another 2-day break and play again on Wednesday. Correct. Then they go back to back. Then they go Friday night. And then if it goes 5, you get another 2-day break. Then 2-day break.
They like to play on like Sundays. Wednesdays, Sundays. Those are the days they like to play, and it's all about TV. It's stupid, but it's all about it. I just wish they could play every other night.
So I think those breaks will help Miami, especially going through a 7-game series. We can't underestimate them going into Game 1. What type of heart Hemi Butler, will have going into Game 1, flying to Denver. And I know you heard about the cockiness that had a ticket booked for Denver already. That's some fucking cocky shit, and I love it. And yeah, man.
So they do. So then even after Game 6, remember Spoelstra was like, we want to play this game now. They were saying when they lost Game 6, he's like, we want to play this game now.
Yeah, so
and they backed it up. That's what they do. I mean, it's just. It's like I said. As much as I will call coaching in the NBA sometimes overrated, that Eastern Conference Final is a series where you really saw what coaching can do, and especially for a team like that. I think Barkley said something after the game where he thinks that he thinks the coaching is more important for the role players. Which is, I mean, maybe that's true. I mean, I think it's, but obviously in Miami is a bunch of role players. So, and that, it works well for them. So,
I'm looking at an interesting. Joker hasn't lost to the Heat in 2 years. That's crazy.
I mean, they only play twice a year,
but 5 games so far. But another thing we forgot to point out about this matchup is the history. Was it the bubble where Jimmy Butler and those guys pulled up to Denver and wanted to fight Jokic for her and Markieff Morris?
Something like that. Was that in the bubble?
Yeah, I think it was. No, was it a 20? I think it was 21.
Yeah, there were he bumped him and then Jokic just came up behind and pushed them.
Yeah, I mean they ain't no easy push from 7 feet down to 200-300 pound man pushing them. Another, hey man, listen, and I just I mean I know Jimmy talks a lot of shit, but. They was ready to fight, like the iconic photo of them pulling up to the Denver locker room and standing out there like, y'all come outside, let's do this. And I think that'll be a part of some motivation for Miami as well, and those guys to try to win this chip. Like I said, I give Heat a little bit more chance. I give them 25-30% chance to win a little more than you do, because I just think we've been underestimating them all game. And when their threes are falling, they're hard to beat. They're very disciplined.
I picked them to beat Boston.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, like I said, I see Denver winning the championship in my head right now. I see Denver raising the Jokic Finals MVP. Murray gets one after being out of 2 years. Michael, MPJ, Bruce, DeAndre Jordan gets a championship. I'm thinking about all those end of the bench guys. Jeff Green been grinding it out all those years trying to make it to this place. And
that reminds me too the joke. Remember I said Boston couldn't win a championship because they had Blake Griffin.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he was trying his hardest. He was over there rooting his team on. That's all he can do in this series. But I mean,
you see any of the? It's funny just how crazy it is. Like Jokic is like minus 350 to win the MVP of the finals, and
I mean he does so much. And Bam got a rough assignment. And then my thing is, this is my biggest problem for Miami. If Bam gets in foul trouble, who guards him? Who guards Jokic? I mean, you don't have anyone really.
I mean, Jimmy Butler.
He
will abuse Kevin Love.
Yeah, Kevin Love
will kill him
to do that.
You gonna see a Haslam sighting? Haslam come out there and play some minutes.
I'm looking at their roster. Yeah, Cody Zeller. I mean,
Zeller. Yeah,
he's probably athletic.
Yeah, Zeller will probably. You'll see more Zeller in this series for sure, because just the way the matchups are. Then because Aaron Gordon's Denver's bigger than Boston too. So yeah, I mean it's because you want to know the funny. Just imagine this. Do you know it's you have to lay money if you want to bet on Jokic averaging a triple double in the final. He's minus 125 to average a triple double. It's insane, right? Insane. Really? I mean, he's averaging one in the playoffs. He's averaging 29, 13, and 10 or something like that. But like, that's still crazy to think that like you have to lay money for the guy to average a triple double.
This is amazing to me. I mean, let's see.
Tell you a nice little play if you want people out there is if we can get is I think Jamal Murray's like 12-1. I think he's like 12-1 to win the finals, or 10-1, which is nice. I mean, because Jamal Murray, as we know what he can do. Right. He's definitely could go off for, if he scores 50 in a couple games or something like that, like we've seen him do before.
This is always interesting to me. Sorry to cut you off. I like to look at the entire roster of guys that can win the championship this year. This is Denver roster. I'm just going to name some of the guys that I know KCP and PJ. Reggie Jackson get a ring this year if Denver win. DeAndre Jordan, Bruce Brown. Thomas Bryant got traded mid-season from the Lakers.
Yeah.
Ish Smith, journeyman. He's always been around. Colin Gillespie, he played at Villanova. He got hurt early in the year with a knee injury.
I don't even know if he was drafted, but he was like a second round.
You got Jamal.
He was a great college player.
Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, those guys.
Yeah, it's just if you played at the team if you were on the team like the 20th game of the season and get released or traded or something like that, you're still eligible for a ring, which is so.
Popeye Jones on the bench, David Edelman. Oh my God, I love.
Well, Popeye Jones is a coach. He's a coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, he's not still playing.
No, I'm just saying guys that can get a chip, man, get a ring. I'm gonna look at the Heat roster.
He might be older than Haslam.
Facts. You're right though. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I'm 20 years in the league, man. Counting checks, man. Hey, listen here.
No, it's just so funny because Haslam never plays, but he just stays just being on that team.
Heat's roster, they can win chills. Udonis, Jimmy, Bam, Tyler. Some kid. Look at this. These kids, Oladipo, Lowry. I don't know half of these guys. Cody Zeller, Orlando Robertson, Omar, you're 7, I guess. Gabe Vin. If you just look at this lineup, you plaster these lineups on the wall, and you be like, which team is winning the championship? Denver Nuggets.
Nikola Jovic,
99 out of 100. Yeah. So it's just Jamal Cain. Like, who are these guys? If Miami still loses this NBA championship finals, where do we move Jimmy Butler in this all-time list somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard. He doesn't. He's good in the regular season. He's very good, but I mean, I don't know. The guy doesn't have a championship, so it's like as great as they've been and overachieving as this team's been, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is he a top 50 player of all time? Maybe, you know what I mean? I think that's about as high as you can go with him. Does he even break the top 50? But then again, even if you're putting him in the top 50 or 75, because he didn't make the top 75. Like who are you taking out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's like another thing too. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's great at what he does, but yeah, I just don't think he's had the career that some of the other guys have had too.
Before we get out of here, I think we pushing up on an hour here. Jimmy been in the league since 2011. Chicago, he got 6 years with Chicago, 1 Minnesota, 1 Philly. His last 4 in Miami. He's averaging.
Philly kept him. They might have a chip.
They will have a chip, no doubt.
They might very well might have one.
If you look at his career stat as of right now, he's averaging 18, 5, and 5. And that's not.
Yeah, I mean that's not top 75 player of all time.
True. So I mean,
without a championship, if you're doing that,
I think one of these people that we're gonna talk about when we get a little older, right? Do you remember Jimmy Butler playoffs?
His playoffs, yeah. I mean, for sure, absolutely. I mean, there's guys like that in other sports. I mean, like a guy like Kirk Schilling or something like that. The guy was just like the guy was good in the regular season, but that guy was like all time in the playoffs. So. Just some of those guys that are like that.
All right, man. We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up, man. So you said Denver. Hold on, let me get my locked up so we can get this thing locked in per usual. I got to figure out what I did with there we go. So you said Denver in 5, correct?
Yes.
Locked in. And
I will say for the bettors out there, there's no value in betting Denver. They're like minus 450 now or something. So, but at minus 1.5 games, so Denver in 6 or less, minus 165. That's the bet.
If it's 1.5, they got to win in 5.
No, right? It's 1.5. No, it's 6 or less. 6 or less, yeah.
So they win in 6. Yeah, that'd be 4 too. Correct.
So so that's I think that's the bet. Oh. I think that's that's something I've been talking about.
I want to see these odds. I haven't looked up anything yet. I haven't had the time to really look it up. So.
But minus 1.5 is was earlier today minus 165. So if it's around that number and you want to bet Denver, I think that's a good bet. I don't know if it's worth laying all that money though. If you're going to bet them just on the series like straight up, so
somebody is. Don't worry, somebody's going to do it. But I got Denver in 6. And I'm
locked
that in. Like I said, I think he could do it. He'll do a little better than we project. They fight with a lot of heart. Like I said, Disney, Caleb Martin give you anything, and then those undrafted free agent. If Strus, the combination of Strus, Robinson, Vincent, and Hero now, because he said that he'll be back by game 3. If they outplay MPJ and KCP and Bruce Brown, I think we might be in for a great series here. My only thing is if Bam get in foul trouble against Jokic, I mean, by itself, he's still going to have a problem by itself. We all know that for sure. But if he just gets some knick-knack fouls and things, it's going to be rough for Miami.
I think
it's still a problem.
Just watching what Denver did to the Lakers, like I just expect them. I just expect them to roll here. I think Denver, if we're going to rewind our time, LA had a chance to win a couple of those games, especially one in Denver and the one at home in game. That's the kind of stuff that likes me like Denver more because they've showed you know what I mean. They showed the guts. They've showed all that stuff. Like it's their year. It's their year. Like I said, I was talking with one of my buddies yesterday too. I was like, even if Boston had won that game, I was like, it doesn't matter. I think I actually in one of our group texts, I think I might have said, I was like, it doesn't matter. Whoever wins this game tonight, Denver's winning the NBA championship.
Yeah, I think they would have beat Boston as well. Yeah. It might be for sure game 6 or 7 there because I think, like I said, Tatum can get high any night, and Jaylen Brown, those guys can get high any night and win a couple games. So, but I think Denver, like I said, this is the team to beat this year. I mean, it's in the books for them, especially like you said, what they did to LeBron, those guys, beat them in 4 straight.
Yeah,
I think Phoenix was beat up, so I don't if they had Chris Paul and some healthy bodies there, I think Phoenix is going to be one of the favorites to win it next year. They're going to get some healthy bodies in there. Some of those guys we mentioned earlier that can flip your team around. They'll pick up some of those guys to add around Booker and Durant. I don't think Paul will be there next year, but this is another episode for the podcast. So, but I think they'll build around those 2 guys and be better. And with Kevin Young being there, and then like you said, we're gonna have to figure out about Missoula. I think if Money Williams calls Brad Stevens, say, "Hey, I'm trying to come to Boston," I think they move Missoula. But if not, I think Missoula will be there. I think he earned it. I
think if he's not fired in the next, if he's not fired in the next week. He's safe.
Think so?
Yeah, I think they usually make those moves pretty fast. It might be even less than that, but I'll give him a week. If he makes it a week, he's good.
I give him to the end of the NBA Finals. Maybe they want to take some news away from the finals, and maybe they want to do it during the finals so they don't pay attention as much to it. Like, hey, Missoula fired under the rug. Y'all watch the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So don't worry about what we got going on. So, but then again, I would be ecstatic for Brad Stevens to come down and start coaching again. I think he was a great coach. I think he's got a brilliant mind.
Pull a Pat Riley.
Yeah, but I think he loves sitting in the booth. Ain't nothing like probably running the team, sitting back, making your money, sitting in the booth, drinking wine, and you know what I mean, looking at it. You know, get what I'm saying? And private jets. You don't have to go to the locker room, deal with these guys every day. I mean, who knows? Maybe he does, maybe not. And he's a young guy too. Let's not get it wrong. Brad
He's
Stevens,
not old at all. Yeah,
yeah. Brad Stevens still young, so he can still get it done here. So
come down, coach for a couple of years, and go back up to the booth. Exactly like Pat. I mean, Pat Riley was much older when he did that.
Pat Riley, with 80 plus, now still look good.
Man, the guy's like one of the great. I mean, when you can consider the coaching and what he's done as a GM, like
46.
one of the great minds in the history of why the fucking Knicks ever let that guy go. I don't know, like what, like I don't know, like what, like.
But
why?
you look at Pat Riley; he's made fine Miami. He looks Miami.
He looks New York too. He looks New York too. He looks New York too. He looks at all L.A., New York, Miami. I mean, Pat Riley. I mean, he's made for that. And it's so funny. He wasn't like that too. He was like a gritty like player and stuff like that. That's like not what he was. But how the Knicks ever let that
78?
How the Knicks ever let that guy go? I don't know. Like, I almost got to go back and figure out what happened, like why they let him.
Look at Pat Riley. Pat Riley look damn good.
I don't know why they just let him run the team. I mean, Van Gundy was
a man drinking vampire blood, man.
Van Gundy was a good coach too, but like how they ever let fucking that guy go, it just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think y'all will be a better team next year as well, though. I think y'all.
Yeah, we're heading in the right direction for sure. I just in general, like
I just wonder what his Hawks gonna do. If it's my choice, I mean, I love Trey. If you ever somehow watch the LK Sport podcast, I love you, my dog. We got to figure something out.
Marbury Part 2.
Yeah, that's what you said about my boy, man. But
I don't know.
We got to figure that
out. I like Trey, too. I do like Trey, but
I think we got to move on from John Collins. But this is another episode of the LK Sport we'll talk about as the season ends, and which I'm excited about. We got to get ready for football. We're 100 days away officially today. How you feel about the Cowboys? You think we're gonna do it again, right?
I mean, when did I say they were going to do it?
I'm just messing with you. Every Cowboy fan in the world.
They should be good. They should be good.
I think y'all going to be good.
Are they going to win? I mean, we'll see. Nobody wins that division 2 years in a row, so I don't think the Giants.
If y'all get D-Hop out, y'all jump.
Yeah, I mean that would be awesome. But I don't.
Y'all got to help a threesome there. Y'all have Cook, Hops.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Well, I'm forgetting CD Lamb. Sheesh.
That would be insane if they got him. I think that's I think the defense will be really. I think the defense is gonna be really, really good this year. So, but we'll see. It's the Cowboys.
For Yankees, how they doing?
They're doing all right. I just saw they put Bader back on the freaking IL today, and but they're 10 games over 500 now. They moving up. They're moving up 2 games behind Baltimore and 6 behind Tampa Bay now. I mean, they probably
Baltimore just signed your
yeah. Hicks, he'll be released in a month.
Yeah,
the guy is just so brutal. He's so terrible. But yeah, we won 3 in a row. We took 2 out of 3 from the lowly Padres. I heard an interesting take on the Padres today, which is. There's always that thought, like especially with baseball players. I mean, with all players in all sports, when you get your money, you kind of like take it back a little bit.
Right.
The Padres have paid everybody. Everybody in that team is on everything. Everybody in that team has gotten paid. Tatis has gotten paid. All these guys have gotten paid. I mean, how else do you explain it? They don't have any of those. They don't got any grinders or nothing on that team. It's a bunch of guys that are making a bunch of money that are stars, and they're just like, I mean, it's almost 60 games into the season, and they're under 500. Like, I mean,
they underachieved. They did well last year. They made it to did they make it to the NLCS?
Yeah. They lost to the Phillies in the NLCS.
So I mean, they did well. They probably one of those teams they feel like they can turn it on when they get ready to, and maybe it might be too late and end up playing in a wild card 1-game series and lose, and we'll be talking about how much money they got on their team and underperforming with those stars of Machado, Soto, Tatis, their top 3, and I'm here for it. I don't give a damn about the Padres. I just don't care for that team personally.
I picked them to win the World Series. That's the only reason why. Like that's the reason. I mean, I guess I don't really care per se. But and they just signed Gary Sanchez too. He got released again. They signed him. And then Sanchez, these guys. Some of these guys just like just not like they're just not living up to the baseball cards.
Yeah, true story. Positive note on the Braves. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a Braves pod very soon. Probably do a solo dolo, and we signed up our number 4 because you don't care for the Braves enough. You might do.
I just fuck around.
We just lost to the A's. I mean, it was a terrible scheduling conflict. We came off
worst team of all time.
Yeah, man. We came off a 10-game straight, and we flew to San Francisco in the middle of the night. Then had a game that afternoon. Then we've had to fly Soroka, which is a positive. He gave up some runs. He pitched 6 innings for us. So we working him back into the groove of things, and we took a L to Oakland, which I think we'll finish these last 2 up on those. Then we go to Arizona.
Yeah, I would think so. They have four pitchers. 4 of their 5 starting pitchers. The A's have over 8 ERA.
That's terrible.
They're so bad. They're on pace to win 30 games. 30.
I just think it was terrible scheduling, man. Them guys was exhausted. Like I said, we just came off a grueling 4 game with Philly. We split. And then before that, we had the
I'm not even
things like that happen.
I'm not even ranking on you for losing them. They've won 11 games. The A's, so they're going to win a couple games here and there. But they're like, I heard a guy today on the radio say that like if you put this Oakland team in AAA or AA, it wouldn't win any of those leagues. That's a little harsh. That's how bad they are. They're a major league roster full of bad double and AAA players. Essentially, what they are.
All right, man. Let's get ready to get up out of here. Like I said, Thursday we'll be recording again. We record this on Monday evening. That'll be the night of game number 1. Well, it's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because we missed Memorial Day. So we'll see if we get back to with you Thursday, depending how busy the week is. But I'm gonna have a Braves podcast, all Braves podcast. Maybe talk a little Yankees. But we got to step it up. MLB season is picking up. I mean, guys are starting to get in the rhythm now. You can start looking at some stats to see where guys at, and going into the All-Star break and into the in the middle of the summer, you see these guys start getting in the groove, see what guys taking it serious, some teams that probably going to start dipping and thinking draft pick type talk. And then we got we're 100 days away from the NFL, which I'm very excited about because I love fantasy football. I love betting.
NFL's king.
Football.
NFL's king.
For sure, man. Oh, quick, before we get out of here, let me turn this down. NHL, who's in the Stanley Cup Finals?
It's Las Vegas versus Florida.
Who's the favorite?
Las Vegas. I mean, Florida was the last team to qualify for the playoffs. Like they're the 8th seed. It's both.
So him and Miami.
The NBA finals and the hockey finals are a 1 seed versus an 8 seed.
So this is going to be crazy when those guys play on the same night. Florida's going to be on fire. 'Cause both of them technically the visiting team, so they're going to be game 3 and 4 in Miami for both teams. So,
it was nice too. It's nice too. So Boston. Another little shade. Boston is the first team ever in the same year to have to lose to an 8 seed at home in a game 7 in hockey and basketball.
I think I've seen that. That's amazing. That's great. Is this Florida?
The Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers. Where are they though? In Florida, where?
They're
is it what? Gainesville, Tallahassee?
Yeah,
Miami,
I think it's not Miami. It's it's funny you asked that because one time I was like curious too, and I want to say it might be like maybe it's the Tampa area. No, Tampa's there. It's where I'm trying to remember. I think it is more northern. Where do Florida Panthers? I look at like people always ask. It's like it popped up right away in Sunrise, Florida, just west of Fort Lauderdale and north of Miami. So it's close to Miami.
Gotcha. That's exciting for a town like that to, especially say they basically got in like a play-in type shit like Miami stuff.
Yeah, they were like the last team to get in. Wow. They were the last wild card. And last season they were last year they had a really good year regular season and then went out early in the playoffs. Right. Now this year they struggled to get in the playoffs and then bam, that's just the craziness of hockey. I think Vegas though. Vegas is the better team. I always joked that Vegas has always kind of became like my second hockey team because I just love everything about Vegas. Yeah, right. So, I'll be rooting for Vegas. I'll be rooting for Denver. So, yeah, let's go Nuggets. Let's go Golden Knights.
I just want to see a great series. Like I said, I just in the books for Denver to win it this year, and I think they should and raise that trophy. And if Miami does it somehow, some way, I think that story would be absolutely amazing.
Miami get a Stanley Cup and an NBA championship.
And I would there'd be a hell of an E60 story 10, 15 years from now that 8 seed winning the chip. Has an 8 seed ever won the NBA championship?
No, they're only the second team to get to the finals.
So that'd be an amazing story. So I would love to see either one of them win. But like I said,
8 seeds won in hockey before. In hockey, that's happened.
But, you know, we in here on positivity. Just say, like I said, keep going. And we'll keep it short and simple. Keep going. Follow your dreams. And that's it here. We thankful and we're grateful. Be humble. Live humble. Stay humble. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful you tuned to the LK Sports.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, man.